Welcome, welcome, welcome to the new sensation, people.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dave.
I am Nick.
And welcome to Cheap Pops. It's a brand new show. This is actually our first episode, so give you a little overview of what the show is going to be. We're going to talk a lot of wrestling. We're going to talk movies, video games, pretty much anything pop culture, anything that we want to talk about. I've done a show before, but this is the first time Nick and I have done one together. So we hope you like it, and if you do, subscribe to it on YouTube, and we're gonna have I'm gonna talk about the social media later. The first thing I wanted to say is I went and saw Ghostbusters Afterlife a couple days ago. It was actually a really good movie. I don't want to give any spoilers because a lot of people haven't seen it yet, but I think the story flows really well with the originals, and the involvement of Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, and Ernie Hudson was actually really cool. The other actors, I think, did a great job, and I think the story was really good. The special effects, I wish they had those special effects back when they did the first ones, but the first ones live up no matter what. So, you got anything?
Been playing the new Grand Theft Auto trilogy, mostly the Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Pretty good. Yes, I know they're going through a couple patches with it, but still solid and pretty good.
Yeah, I'm going to wait until after the holidays to get that. I think it's pretty cool, though, that the Grand Theft Auto games came out on the Switch. That's something I never thought would happen. I never thought they would put that kind of game on the Switch, so I think that's pretty cool. But, I mean, the controls for the Switch are pretty much the same as any other controller, so I think it's a perfect thing to put on the Switch. I've been watching a lot of Impact Plus lately because it's $10 a month, just like the WWE Network, and I've always been a fan of TNA and Impact, so I've been binge watching a lot of stuff. Go out of your way to see a match from Slammiversary 2018, Pentagon Jr. versus Sami Callihan. Of course, Pentagon Jr. is now Penta El Sierra Muerto on AEW. It's a really brutal match, hair versus mask. I really think you should go out of your way to find it. I'm sure if you just Google, Slammiversary 2018, it'll come up. I know you watch a little bit of WWE, and I don't. Well, I mean, I catch the pay-per-views, but the state of WWE is just horrible right now.
It really is.
They've released so many wrestlers. Their product is bad. I watched the NXT pay-per-view, the War Games. They have bastardized the War Games. There's no top on it. The first thing the first participant did in both the women's War Games and the men's War Games was they brought weapons into the cage. Why not just do a regular match with everybody if you're going to do that? That defeats the purpose of the cage. The cage is supposed to be the weapon. The cage is supposed to be what you use to create punishment, and you're supposed to fear the cage, not fear that they're throwing kendo sticks and tables into it. They do their best with these as far as the competitors go. The women's match was okay, but I have no excitement for it, especially since they've done the changeover to 2.0. I mean, I like that the building is lit and but they've gotten rid of all the old stars, and Braun Breaker, Rick Steiner's kid, that's pretty cool, but the show was WWE as a whole is completely horrible. They released a crap load of wrestlers, and I mean it's good for other companies like AEW and Impact that some of these wrestlers are gone, but I don't understand why. I mean, I get that they're probably trying to sell the company. That's been the rumor for a long time. So you cut costs wherever you can, and when you've got record profits, but they have no competition anymore, real competition. AEW is. But unless AEW goes head-to-head, like WCW did, it's really not competition. And they don't have to sell pay-per-views anymore, so there's no urgency to make money there, to put on a good product. To me, it feels like the mid-'90s, where it was nothing but gimmicks, just, like the Goon and TL Hopper and stuff like that. And, I mean, on NXT, you've got a guy that's playing a typical Italian, giving money to the referee and, buying his way into things. So
it's the $1 Million Man all over again.
Yeah, it's just it's what Vince McMahon likes. He has no clue what the public likes. You would think that after the whole Daniel Bryan thing of Daniel Bryan getting hot and the people telling him what they wanted, that they would have, learned. But he's a 76-year-old man that's running a company, and plus he's got Bruce Pritchard in his ear again, which Bruce just tells him whatever he wants to hear. And I think that's horrible, but, I'm going to keep watching regardless. There's rumors that Kevin Owens' contract is coming up in January. Johnny Gargano and Kyle O'Reilly look like they're both going out because they both gave farewells on the last NXT episode. And now Jeff Hardy's gone.
Yep, they just released him.
Yep. I saw the video of him just leaving the match and going out into the crowd and then never coming back. And you could tell that Drew McIntyre and Xavier Woods were confused. They had no idea what was going on. I feel bad for Jeff. But at some point, especially since the rumor is, I'm not going to say they definitely did, but they offered him rehab and he denied it. At some point, Matt Hardy has said it before too, you just got to kind of let him cut ties and let him try to do it on his own. Because he can't get out of his own way.
No.
One thing I was thinking about, if you've ever noticed, he never had relapses and stuff if he was in a feud with his brother or tag teaming with his brother. It's always been when he's been on his own.
Yeah.
In TNA in 2011, Matt was having problems too. So, yes, they were in the same company together, but Matt was having his issues too. But it just seems like when he's tagging with his brother or when he's in a storyline with his brother, he's fine. But when he's by himself, he just gets into... And I feel bad because he's got kids. He's got a wife and kids, and addiction is a horrible thing, don't get me wrong. I feel real bad that he's ended up like this, but... If he goes to AEW and has one last run with his brother, with the Young Bucks or FTR, stuff like that, that'll be cool. But just to know that he can't get out of his own way when he's such a popular performer, I think it sucks. But, if he's refusing help, there's not much you can do for him.
No.
And WWE has put a lot of guys through rehab and helped a lot of people, and I appreciate them for that. But I think he should have been gone a long time ago because you could just tell that he wasn't doing well.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm surprised he wasn't. He's a good merch mover, but, a lot of people have already been released. I figured he would have been a high-dollar guy that they would have released a long time ago.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know this, but the other day I was watching a video, speaking of the rehab, that Zach Gowen actually was addicted to drugs and everything. I never even knew that.
No, I didn't know about that either. It seems to be, it doesn't happen to everybody, but some people just can't take the pain or can't take the travel, and they kind of numb themselves with it. I've never had to experience that, so I can't, but I can imagine that the travel, you're going to a different city all the time. You're on a different plane. Half the time you probably got to look at your plane ticket just to figure out where you're going.
Yeah.
And the pain, I hate it when people call it fake. I've loved the business ever since I was a little kid. I've taken bumps in the ring. I'm not saying I'm a wrestler. I've taken a few bumps, and that hurts a lot. And yes, there's a pad, but if you look underneath, it's steel and wood, and that takes a toll. Look at Jeff Hardy. The man does swanton bombs all the time, and he's landing with his ass and his heels on the mat. I look. Hulk Hogan's had 8 back surgeries just from doing the leg drop, so that shows you how much damage it does to somebody.
Yeah, and then Mick Foley and the DDP.
Yeah, a lot of those guys, they killed themselves. I love that AEW is doing so well, and I know a lot of people don't watch Impact, but I think a lot of their performers are really good. They've got people. They took Big Cass, and he's W. Morrissey now. He's a beast. They've got people like Moose, Deonna Purrazzo, who my opinion, she's the best women's wrestler in the world. And I wish they would get a better TV deal because I think their product is really, really good. But as long as they're on Access TV that a lot of people don't have access to, they aren't going to they aren't going to go anywhere. And it's sad because they were a direct competition for a while with WWE. When you think about it too, I've talked to you about this. They've been around longer than Ted Turner's WCW.
Oh yeah,
They've been around this. It'll be 20 years that this company has been around. It's hard to believe that TNA Impact has been around that long, and it looked like they were on life support for a while. But as long as Anthem owns them and they have their own, stuff to put them on, I think they're going to be around. And they keep signing people. I mean, Owens or Gargano or O'Reilly, I could see them going to AEW, but they might go to Impact. They've got friends there too. So I like the health of the business itself because the indies are doing good. We're going to an independent show later tonight after we record this to World of Hurt in Pittsfield, Mass. We're going to meet the Warlord. It'll be a good show.
Hell yeah.
But the indies are thriving, especially with, people going back out there. COVID's not over, but people are still going out to shows, which is good. But the state of WWE just boggles my mind. I'm glad they got rid of Nia Jax because I thought she was horrible. But just some of the releases amaze me, and I get that they have to release some top dollar people because they want to get, I don't care what anybody says. They're trying to sell that company.
Can they just get rid of Goldberg and not bring him back?
Oh, my God.
Oh, I'm sorry, people. Oldberg.
Yeah, Oldberg, yeah. The match with Bobby Lashley at the Saudi Arabia pay-per-view wasn't bad. Goldberg didn't knock himself out in that match. Which
Thank God.
Did. Yeah, but you've got all this talent, and you bring in a guy that's in his 50s. You've got talent that can really kick ass and can have really good matches if you give them something to do. Kevin Owens is an amazing wrestler, and you've done nothing with him. Seth Rollins annoys me at times, but he's good. He doesn't need a stupid character. These people don't need stupid characters. All you got to do is look at the Attitude Era and let these people do what they do and talk. And the Roman Reigns is an exception. He's been doing amazing, and Paul Heyman with him has been great, talking for him. He's come into his own, and I like him with the Usos and stuff. That's really cool. But other than that...
They should have done it a long time ago.
That's true, yep. But other than him... What's the reason to watch SmackDown? The Randy Orton and Matt Riddle stuff feels like mid-90s to me. We'll just throw a tag team together and see if it's funny, and they can play off each other. Randy Orton is completely stale to me. He's been around way too long without taking a break. At least Chris Jericho would go away for a while.
Yes. And he reinvents himself.
Exactly. Randy Orton has been the exact same. He does the exact same moves all the time. I know in every match, maybe not when he's with Riddle, but in every match when he's by himself, he's going to do that DDT with the person's leg draped over the rope.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to do it every time. And then I've had people say, well, Bret Hart did the same stuff all the time. Yes, but he would vary it up in his matches. You can pretty much go blow by blow. I can look at a Randy Orton match and see, oh, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. It's paint by numbers, and I don't get it. Well, he's complacent, too. He's making a shitload of money, and he doesn't have to worry about his character because he knows the money's coming in. And WWE, they're getting their money from the TV companies, so they don't have to worry about it. And I think that's a sense of urgency, I think, is what that company is missing.
And I think he might have creative control over his character.
He might, he might be to that point, because I know Cena probably did for a while. He might be, tenured enough in that company where he does. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's been a war of words lately. It's just started between the Briscoes who just ended in Ring of Honor. Well, they will actually tomorrow. As we're recording this, it's December 10th. The Final Battle, which will be the last Ring of Honor pay-per-view, unless they reboot it. They say they're going to reboot it, but when you're releasing everybody from their contracts and then you say, we're not going to have people on contracts, how are you going to keep a roster if you're not going to sign guys to contracts?
I mean, Jay Lethal, he's already gone.
He's gone. And the Briscoes have been having a war of words with FTR on Twitter, and I encourage you to go follow the Briscoes on Twitter, because they pull no punches, they swear in their interviews, and it's just tremendous because they're so authentic. The fact that the Briscoes have never been on a national stage other than Ring of Honor boggles my mind, because they are such a good tag team, and they're good individually too. They remind me a lot of the Hardys as far as being able to be great as a team and great individually. But there's rumors that they're going to AEW. I don't know why you wouldn't snatch them up for your tag division for AEW, because they're so good, and they do need one last run, and they need a national spotlight. And I do not want to see them go to WWE, because they will not know what to do with the Briscoes.
No, because it'll just fucking piss them away.
Yeah, and the tag division in WWE is horrible anyways.
It is.
I can't name more than a couple tag teams, and I'm not even going to try. There's also talk of...
Oh, come on. You don't want to name your favorite one on your hat?
Oh, well, the New Day's really not even a tag team anymore. You know, Xavier Woods is the king of the ring. He's doing single stuff. Kofi has, as far as I can tell, hasn't been on in a while. Like I said, I don't watch it very much. I see highlights. But Big E is the WWE champion, which is great. You know, the fact that those three have broken out and they've all...
Yes.
Xavier Woods, you know, he hasn't done the WWE title, but he's the king of the ring, and they're doing something with him, shows the talent that those guys had. Which I don't understand, you know, let these guys do what they do. You let those guys do what they wanted to do, and they became one of the most popular things in the business.
Exactly.
But, you know, maybe...
Until Vince gets his fucking hands into it, like what happened with Kofi Kingston with fucking Brock Lesnar.
Right. And it is cool that Kofi got that title run. But him losing it to Brock Lesnar that quickly and getting no offense in and not really getting a rematch was just stupid. Because why you did the Daniel Bryan build-up for him, and then you just cut it off just like that.
Yep.
I don't understand that, and they seem to have a formula for the underdog, which the only underdog they really, you know, featured was Rey Mysterio, and I never understood that. I always thought he was way too small. No offense, Rey, but how am I supposed to, when you've got Kurt Angle at the point when Rey Mysterio was champion, and John Cena, and Randy Orton, and Triple H, and Shawn Michaels. Even Shawn Michaels is a small guy. But for you to say as your company, you know, that Rey Mysterio is our World Heavyweight Champion, I'm looking at a guy that's probably... I've stood next to him. He's about my height, and he's wearing a mask, and he's the World Heavyweight Champion. The belt looks ridiculous. Even the Intercontinental title looked ridiculous on him because he's so small. I get that he's a huge star, and you wanted to move him into the title picture, but he didn't even go to the Intercontinental title first. He went straight to the... And they capitalized on Eddie Guerrero dying, which you could have done that with Chavo, you know, which would have made more sense, but he wasn't as over as Rey Mysterio, and I get that. But it's...
They could have got Chavo over. They could have got him over with a storyline.
Right. And I think that doing Eddie's moves and stuff as a tribute, they did it for way too long. You know, they were doing that. There's so many people that do the Three Amigos now as a tribute to Eddie Guerrero. Or they'll pull out a frog splash. Doing the Three Amigos and then the frog splash, you know, I get that you were friends with him and stuff, but too many people have done it as a tribute as far as I'm concerned, you know. But I'll always watch wrestling. I bitch about wrestling, but...
It's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things to love. I mean, you came over and watched the Full Gear pay-per-view.
Yes.
AEW is putting out an amazing product. At first, they had a lot of indie guys like Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss. A lot of those people are on like Dark and Elevation, their YouTube shows. They brought in a lot of big names, which is awesome. CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole. They seem to be doing the right things now. They're getting away from a lot of the stuff that got them the buzz in the first place. But you've got to realize that you're on a national platform, and a lot of this stuff that worked on the independents is not going to work mainstream.
No.
And you're on TNT, you're going to TBS, which I don't think that's going to matter. You're still on Turner. The wrestling fans are going to follow you, and as long as you advertise it well, it's going to work.
And you don't treat your wrestling fans like they're stupid.
Exactly.
Late 2000s, WCW.
Yeah, I mean, they know that their fans read the internet. You know, they still try. They do great storylines, but they don't treat you like you're an idiot like WWE does.
Yes.
You know, I know that a guy dressing up in a jumpsuit, doing an Italian accent, and handing money to the referee. Okay, he's just playing a character. He's not invested in this. You know, okay, you can say Orange Cassidy is a character. Yes, he is. but he's not a typical character. He's doing his own thing, and I love AEW. I hope they continue to do what they're doing. The big names that they've brought in make sense for that company. And if they bring in Kyle O'Reilly and Johnny Gargano and Kevin Owens,
that would be freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's a company that focuses on what happens in the ring. They do backstage stuff. They do vignettes. They do interviews. But they focus mainly on what happens in the ring, and I think that's a really good thing.
Yes.
I hate the term sports entertainment. That's always driven me nuts.
Ugh.
It's professional wrestling. I don't understand why people have to, it's sports entertainment. I get that there's a sports element to it, but unless you're going to do statistics and, ESPN is going to cover it like on SportsCenter, then it's not a sport. And it is entertainment, but call it what it is. It's professional wrestling. For God's sakes, your company was World Wrestling Federation and World Wrestling Entertainment. The wrestling is the main part. If those guys were out there just doing those characters with no ring in the building, then okay, that's sports entertainment.
Yeah.
But it's a professional wrestling ring with professional wrestlers. Wrestling is not a bad word. I haven't seen it on any, not say
Vince
list.
made it a bad word.
Yeah, and that's a 76-year-old man not knowing what he's doing. Same with, they released Bray Wyatt.
That was
That man is so creative and is a merchandise mover. He's talented. His matches were okay. But then again, with the characters that he does, he doesn't need to do a lot in the ring.
No.
The mystique is part of... But I think he had great matches. The WrestleMania match with Undertaker, I thought was a really good match.
Yes.
His matches with Cena were really good. The matches with The Shield against the Wyatt family
that was
were some of the best matches I've ever seen, especially for 6-man tags. If he goes to AEW, he'll be great. If he goes to be honest, I'd like to see him go to Impact, because I think they need a star.
Yes, a good star
of his level that will rise. That you can take to a TV station and say, "Hey, we've got this guy that was a huge deal in another company, and we're building." I think that's a good idea for him. I could see him going to AEW because they've got the money.
Yeah.
But I really would like to see him go to Impact. As far as the business as a whole, the wrestling business is fine. It's just WWE's business. Business-wise, they're fine because they're making money despite themselves. But as far as content, it's horrible.
Vince, please just step down. Let Triple H take control, please.
Yeah. Well, plus he's listening to Nick Khan, the guy that's the CFO, and that's why I still say that they're trying to sell the company. And they're going to do it farther down the line, but when you sold the network that you put so much time in, and you're releasing all these people, and you're making record profits, if a business is making record profits, they generally don't lay off a bunch of people unless they're planning on selling the company. So, I love wrestling. I'll always love wrestling. I don't know what they could do to make me not love wrestling, because as long as there's an alternative where I don't have to exclusively watch WWE, then I might hate it. But then again, there's indie wrestling shows that I can go to, especially in this area in the Northeast. At least once a month we can usually go to a show or a signing, which is great. I love going to the signings up here. I would say if you love the business, support indie wrestling. Even if you don't know anybody that's on the card, I don't think maybe once or twice I've gone to an indie show where I was disappointed.
And you never know who's that next big star is
Exactly.
going to be.
I first met Deonna Purrazzo at an indie show. I've gone Matt Taven, Tommaso Ciampa, Cedric Alexander, Mia Yim. There's so many wrestlers that are important. Johnny Gargano I first saw at an indie wrestling show. The guy that would become EC3, I met him first in an indie show.
You also met Sasha Banks.
So yeah, I saw Sasha Banks' last independent match before she went with WWE. Go to an indie show, you never know. Like, we're going to one tonight with the Warlord.
Yeah.
He may not be a big name to everybody today, but for somebody that grew up on wrestling, that's going to draw at least some tickets to bring people into the door. And I think indie wrestling shows are fun, even if it's just for a night out to go see wrestling. I think it's a great idea.
Hell, it's a good night to hang out with friends.
Yeah, it really is. And like the general admission tickets for the show that we're going to are $20. I don't need front row for an indie show unless it's a big show. $20 out of my pocket to go hang out with my friend and see some good wrestling. Even a lot of indie shows, and during intermission, you can meet the stars, or some of them do meet and greets before. Yes, you've got to pay a lot of times to meet the wrestlers, but if you go to a baseball convention, you've got to pay to meet those guys. If you go to a Comic-Con, you have to pay to meet them. I'll never understand why people complain about paying to meet wrestlers. I seem to find, or they find me, all the dumb people that have either never been to a show or go to a show and complain every time they go that they've got to pay for something. Do you expect them to give you a hot dog for free? You know, just for going to the show? No, you pay for a hot dog, you pay for a bottle of water or a soda. You're going to pay to meet a wrestler. That's just the way it is. If that's something that you complain about, please don't talk to me. I know you're going to anyways, but I'm just putting that out there now. If you're watching and you see me at a show, this wonderful face at a show, just don't come talk to me. I'm talking to him. If I'm standing in line with my hand in my pockets, I don't want to talk to you. I just want to get into the show.
They're going to talk to you no matter what.
Oh, they're going to talk to me. I must give off a pheromone. I've said it before. I must, that every idiot at a show is going to come talk to me. And they're going to talk to me about the most random, stupid crap that I don't want to talk about. And I try to ignore them, but they keep coming.
Or wherever we sit.
Lately, the wherever we sit hasn't happened as much. But, yeah, it's kind of like at a movie theater where people that talk all the time, sitting behind you. It's kind of like that at a wrestling show lately. But
don't make me bring up the kid.
Yeah, let's not get into it. No. We've had too many bad experiences, but that aside, we can always enjoy the show.
Yes.
There's supposed to be a WWE show up here next month. I'm not going to go. People ask me, oh, you love wrestling, why aren't you going to go? I don't enjoy the product on TV.
No.
I'm not going to go to one of their house shows. And I'm certainly not going to pay the price to go to one of their house shows. If they brought a pay-per-view to our local arena, I might go. Just because I know the match quality is going to be good. But I know a lot of these wrestlers aren't happy with what they're doing. They may go all out at house shows. They used to when I'd go. But I just do not have the drive to go to a show for WWE right now. We're driving 2 hours to go to this independent show with only one big name on it. That kind of tells you all you need to know about the way WWE is right now. I'm not saying for people, oh, don't go to WWE. I'm not saying that. Support people. If you like WWE and you like a lot of the wrestlers, please go. Go to their house shows. Go to their TVs. Go to Raw. Go to SmackDown. Go to their pay-per-views. But for me, it's just not for me. I watch highlights, but to sit through a 3-hour Raw, I don't know how anybody can do it. Maybe if you have it on DVR and you can fast forward through the commercials and fast forward through some stuff.
Or put it on mute so you don't have to hear Michael Cole's fucking mouth.
Yeah. The announce team is horrible. And you can tell the ones that have been trained by Michael Cole because they all sound like him. But I'll watch out of habit certain things, but AEW is where it's at right now for me. I'm kind of thinking that maybe Game Changer Wrestling will get a TV deal at some point. It might be a small deal, but they're bringing in Kevin Nash for one of their next shows. They've got a lot of buzz, Nick Gage and Matt Cardona, who used to be Zack Ryder, does a lot of stuff with them. They do a lot of deathmatch stuff, but they also do a lot of good wrestling matches too, which is good.
And me, I love my death matches.
He loves the deathmatch stuff. I do enjoy death matches. We've watched before where some of the stuff is just ridiculous and you can't help but laugh at it. But what a lot of people do that must be a Game Changer Wrestling calling right now.
Oh, god damn it!
Yeah, let me take care of that.
We'll take care of the phones.
Yeah.
It might be Vince calling you too.
Yeah, Vince's ears might be ringing. He might be pissed at me.
Yeah, he might be pissed at you. God damn it, talk about me on the podcast.
See, it is him.
See, you don't even want to fucking answer. God damn you, Griswold.
Just everybody remember, this is our first show. We plan to hopefully have a studio at some point. It's not going to be a great studio, but this is actually, we don't want to be famous. We don't want, we just want to talk about stuff, and maybe some people like it, some people don't. I used to do a show called the Comic Wrestling Podcast with a former friend of mine, and we'd get hate mail, people, but a lot of people liked it. And if you don't like what we're saying, don't watch. That's fine with me. But I've got a lot of people I know that I've made a lot of friends through wrestling, and a lot of the other stuff that we like. We like comic book movies. We like all kinds of stuff.
Yes.
And there's stuff that we want to talk about, and we want to share it. And if 10 people like it, that's fine with me. If 5 people like it, I don't care. For us, this is a chance to sit down and talk about stuff. Maybe other people join in on the conversation, which is great. So.
And it basically, you get shit off our chest.
Yeah. And I've always thought, I listen to podcasts, I watch YouTube shows, and it's a chance to hear things that you might not have thought of, or just somebody else's perspective, and it starts a conversation. That's my main thing, and of course right now it's close to Christmas time, so we've got our Christmas stuff on. We're not going to talk about Christmas stuff, but
oh, you don't want to talk about Griswold?
Yeah, Clark can fall all he wants. But this is, it's not going to be, we would like to upgrade stuff, and do certain things, and do different, we're going to do videos, we're going to do, all that kind of stuff. But it's a chance to talk and to just get some things out there. Seems like everybody's doing a show, but take half an hour out of your day. Even if you listen to us for 5 minutes and you're just like, screw this, I don't like it, I don't care. We just want to have some fun and get some stuff out there. And we thought that this, show was a way to do that. Yes. We've been good friends for over 10 years, and
wow, it has been 10 fucking years.
Yeah, it's been that long. It's the longest 10 years of my life. But no.
Oh, you loved it all the way.
But like when we go to shows, this is what we do. We talk about what we're interested in.
Exactly.
The movie trailers that we've seen, or the wrestling that we've watched, or just pretty much anything. We're not going to get political. We're not going to do that kind of crap. This is going to be about talking about stuff that interests us. And, wrestling interests me, and that's mainly what I'm going to be talking about most of the time. And people say I've been obsessed with it all my life. And I don't care what people say about it. It's an amazing form of entertainment. If it's kind of like the circus, there's always something that somebody can like. I've brought people to shows that have never watched wrestling before, and they loved it. I've shown people matches that they didn't like wrestling, but they loved that particular match. And if we turn one person on to watching wrestling, that's cool. If we don't, that's cool too. We're having fun. I want to mention one thing. Go on Twitter at Davey Painting. Dave Cole, he's also an independent wrestler, but he's an artist. He made the logo that's on our banner on the front of the table. He did an amazing job. I love it. He incorporated, since we want to talk about wrestling and we want to talk about movies and superheroes and stuff like that, he incorporated the wrestling vibe and the superhero vibe that we were looking for. I think he did it perfectly. The reason we're calling the show Cheap Pops, at least this is the way I look at it. Cheap Pops, if you're a wrestling fan, that's what Mick Foley used to do to get attention. He'd say, right here in Columbus, Ohio, and then he'd throw the thumbs up just to get the crowd to react. But I thought we're also going to be talking about pop culture. So I thought Cheap Pops was the perfect name for the show. A lot of people watch videos on YouTube. If you come across it and you like it, please leave a comment. We're going to have social media. Actually, I'll say we're going to be on Twitter and TikTok. We're going to be putting most of our short videos on TikTok. It's at Cheap Pop Show. If you go on Instagram, just look for Cheap Pop Show. Same with Facebook. I don't know how often, what kind of stuff we're going to post. We're going to post, updates about the show, and we might post memes and, movie trailers and clips and stuff like that. But we will keep you up to date on what we're doing, mainly on Twitter, because Twitter's the easiest platform to use.
The fire-breathing Twitter machine.
Yeah, the Twitter machine. When he wants me to post something, because I'm handling a lot of that stuff. Because I already have accounts, so it's easier just to do it. We're going to be on Twitter. We might go to Comic-Cons eventually and do some stuff, around here. And that's pretty much what we're going to do. I mean, this is just going to be fun for us, that's all. So I hope you've liked it. I've had a great time doing this with Nick. Hope you have a good holiday, whatever holiday that you celebrate. I'm not going to say war on Christmas and all that. If you celebrate Christmas, celebrate Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Festivus, whatever you do, that's cool. And I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoy your holidays.